Okay, because of the way we were developing, we started with hard-coded values and we moved to the general solution. And that means there's quite a bit of checking to make sure that we haven't got hard-coded values left. Um, can't remember the name of the program, performance. Okay, so let's take a look through. UMAP, we are calculating that. We should be able to remove that. Let me write that out and check that it still works. Yep, it's okay. Um, this sofa required, armchair required. I've changed my mind about how I'm doing that. I'm going to get rid of that. Delete that and delete that. The pricing. Okay, I don't have that pricing stored in my database anywhere. I hadn't thought about putting that in the database. It should go in the database, I guess, because the cinema is going to change the price of seats and they may even change per performance. But I'm not going to bother. I'm going to leave that pricing in place. So this is hard coded. Let me put in a comment saying to do. Pricing should be in the database. Putting this kind of stuff in the database is a real pain. You have to do it, but I'm going to have really to make this into an actual application. I'd have to build pages so that an administrator can go in and change the prices, and probably we want to allow different prices for different performances. So there's going to be a different price for each seat, for each performance, or for each seat type for each performance. And that's going to be a lot of work because it's got to be updated and it's got to be done using a secure system because you can't let the punters pick the prices. But I'm not going to bother with any of that. Just put in the to do. At some stage, someone's going to have to go in. And right now, if this cinema wants to change the prices of an armchair, they're going to have to go into the PHP and change the structure. It's harsh. Okay, I've left in place the hard-coded username and password. Again, these are the sorts of things that it would be nice to put somewhere else and not have them hard-coded in my PHP. But again, I'm not going to bother. Okay, this matters. Here I've hard-coded the performance and I need to be getting the performance from the internet. Now I set it down here because I needed it in another query. I'm going to take it out of there and put it back here. And that's got to come from the internet. So let's generalize that. Take that out, that hard-coded value, put in the question mark, which means I have to do the binding before I can, after I've done the prepare, but before I do the execute. Also, this performance is going to come from the internet. So it's going to be $_request square brackets, and I have to choose what the parameter is going to be. I don't think I've got that anywhere here. I think I'm going to move the hard coding out of the PHP and into the JavaScript. So let's make that performance. Okay, so the performance is coming from the internet, and I have to, before the execute, I have to do the bind. So $statement underscore bind param. I really don't like this mechanism, I have to say. Binding the parameters. It's like in PHP, what happens is you specify that you're magically going to insert a value from a variable, in this case performance, that gets performance. So that gets put into the SQL, and even worse, it can go back the way as well. You can have your SQL statement run and magically change a PHP variable. I think that's just hideous. That's with MySQL. I'm coming around to the other way of doing this in PHP, which is PDO. So PDO's got a slightly nicer mechanism, but I've started with MySQLi, and I can cope. It's not that big a deal. Okay, so I've got my performance variable set up. I'm using it there. I'm looking for examples where I've hard-coded. Can't see any more hard-coding here. That's all looking good. Okay, let's try this. Write that out and reload. And now we get an error. I was expecting that. Can I reload? I'm looking for the call that's giving me the data back. Network, I've got to look at network. Let's see what this is doing here. Okay, this is not good. You can see it's giving me the data structure I wanted, but it's complaining undefined index performance, and it's giving me the error message, and that error message, my JavaScript program is trying to interpret that as JSON, and it's all going horribly wrong. Let's right click that, open it in a new tab. I think I already had that going there. So I get the error message followed by some kind of JSON. The problem is that I haven't got my performance variable. I need to set performance equals a, why the hell did I come up with that stupid number? Let's find that stupid number. That's here. Okay. Paste. All right, if I set the number, then the error message goes away. No, it doesn't, because I spelled performance wrong. Performance. Okay, now the error message has gone away and everything works. So I have to make the JavaScript, the Ajax call, include that. So I have to come out of the PHP and into dom.js. And I need to pass the parameter performance in. The Ajax call takes a number of parameters. URL is where it's going to. Success is the callback function. And another useful parameter I can put in is data. So data is the information that's going to get sent to the query, and in this case it is that performance takes the value, that stupid string. Okay, so I'm only sending one parameter, and that's the performance, and that's now going to get passed. This call here will be decorated with the variable that I want, and everything's going to work fine. Let's save that. Now I haven't been reloading. I need to reload now to get the new JavaScript in. And oh, it looked like it worked. There's the performance call, and you can see that it's sending that query string parameter. Performance is that A value, and that's working fine. And if I wanted to go for another performance, and I think I do have another performance set up in my database, I could change that. If I change this to a 1, here I've got 2 seats booked. In the new performance, there's no bookings at all. So if I save that out and reload, those X's should turn to O's. Yep, they did, because this is a different performance. Good, so we've tidied it up. We haven't taken out all the hard coding, but we've moved the hard coding from out of the PHP and into the JavaScript. This program here kind of sits in a sequence. We're assuming that the user has picked the time and the movie before they get to this screen. So that has to be passed in somehow, and we're not dealing with any of that. At this stage here, we assume that we know what the performance is. That's magically inserted by hard coding there. And the next stage, or the previous stage if you like, is to allow the user to choose which showing they're going to do and pass that value into this page, which can then continue with the seat booking. We're not trying to solve all the problems, we're just doing one small part of the booking process. I say small part, it's actually quite a big part, it's a good half of it. Okay, so it would be nice to have a mechanism for booking, and we'll do that in the next video so that we can let people from the internet book seats, and those bookings will be remembered.